I'm going to turn it back to the audience. All you do is raise your hands, and then we'll point at you, and then you can ask your question to Mr. Strouth. Yes?
Why did you feature so many females in the RNC convention when they really were a small percentage?
Did we?
Yeah.
I guess I never really thought about it. You mean of the actual, like...
The delegates.
The delegates?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of our inside footage was done by this guy, John Burnett, from the Electoral College. He's a film professor in Iowa. And John actually was one of the people that we could kind of work with to be like, John, can you just take people watching the speech as opposed to the speech? And, you know, people's feet and all these kind of crazy things. I think it was because, in some ways, it was the most... Their expression was a little more human. Because some of the men's expressions, not so much. We wanted to not paint just a picture of like, oh, everybody's crazy. Although really our premise on the film is everybody kind of an asshole. And that really, if we had one motivating factor behind us, absolutely that was it. But yeah, it wasn't an intentional thing. We actually tried to be pretty even keeled. We tried to spread it out as much as we can, working within the footage that we had.
How much total footage was there?
Oh, 40 million hours. Yeah. I couldn't even guess. I mean, I watched pretty much everything that was available from every source. And Alec Roslick, who's my associate producer, who, again, if you guys don't mind, if you could just, it's his first movie. He's never done this before. Give it to Alec. Because I didn't pay him anything, so that's what you get. And also, see you next one, by the way, it's Greg Ryerson who did our sound. And Greg, who just saw our footage, just said, but yeah, we watched so much footage. I can't even, if it was available, it was there. And then we inherited a bunch of footage from a documentary that failed, that in the making by Joan Seckler, and we got a ton of footage from that. So we went through the film that you see here was made out of 2 terabyte drives that were completely full. And that doesn't include what we just watched. So yeah, a lot. That's a really good question. It's going to be shown next week in Madison, so if you have nothing to do, that'll be a fun road trip. And I'm really excited about that. I don't know when it's going to be shown here in town. Being that it's sold out, I'm kind of hoping we'll get someone else to do it again. We've been sort of waiting for this to get it its first locale. Strangely, it's one of those films that outside of Minneapolis, people aren't as excited about as you think, because part of the story is people don't really care about this as much out. There's a lot of people who are talking about the whole world is watching, but the reality is the whole world really wasn't watching. In fact, one of my favorite moments of the film is when the Poor People March, thanks for coming, when the Poor People March go and present the citizen's arrest. And what you don't really see is that on the other side of the fence that they're presenting this arrest and asking, please don't kill me, that they're talking to no one, that there's nobody there. They're not about to be tased, and it's just sort of blank. And in a lot of ways, I think that's indicative of how the rest of the world kind of looked at it. It's that, and what we found in the fest circuit is we've gone under what I like to think of as the politics of hope. And we don't like to look at the recent past quite as much. So it's really been interesting. It's really been an interesting procedure how it is, because people see the film and for the most part they tend to like it. And but yeah, the fest circuit is kind of weird. So I don't know where else I'll see. There'll probably be another screening at some point. You can see stuff on our website, Unconvention.tv.